I like to visualize a lot before I race. So I like the day before, actually that's in the last 3 days coming up to the race, I like to visualize. I visualize always the hardest part of the run. Just get ready for that, visualize it, so when you meet there on race day, it's not something unexpected or something new. You know what's happening, and you know you're gonna get through it, and you're gonna get to the finish line. My name is Balázs Csöke. I was born and raised in Hungary. I live in Zurich, Switzerland at the moment. I'm 35 years old and I race as a professional triathlete. I basically raced all around the world. I totally can say that, from Australia to New Zealand, from South Korea and Asia, down in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia, Taiwan. Did many times South Africa, basically all over Europe, in the US, Canada, Brazil, Argentina. So I really can say that I raced all over the world. I've counted actually last year, and I believe Ironman Malaysia was my 30th Ironman, but I finished last November. Generally speaking, I would say the hardest part of an Ironman for everyone is the second half of the run. It's you can do good swim, you can do 180k, 112 miles, bike ride, starting with running, but the second half of the run is very strongest. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have bad spots before, and you should expect that you're going to have bad spots, even on the bike, you know, but because 112 miles, it's a long bike ride, and something could go wrong. Let's say I get any technical issue, what happened last time when I was racing in Malaysia, to get a flat tire, so I had to get off the bike and fix myself, and all my competition was gone, and like, oh my god, it's end of the world, so I really had to stay present. So I'm gonna fix this, I'm losing a couple of minutes, but just don't panic what's gonna happen on the run, but just try to be present. And when it comes to the real Ironman, second half of the run, at that point, what you're looking forward, just wanna get to the finish as quick as possible. Being honest, when you've done majority of the race, you are at 30 miles on the run, at that point, you just wanna finish the race and get to the finish line as quick as possible. I just like to a little bit like talk with my bike, to like say it's gonna be a long day, like stay together. Kind of like that's what I usually do with my bike. So make sure that we're gonna have a good 5 hours or 4 hours, or for not that 5 hours, less for 4 hours together. Pretty much that's all I do. First timers, number one, enjoy the day. Like there is nothing more important, I think, for first timer to enjoy it. Just get to the start line. I believe it's a huge privilege for everyone that you are healthy enough and you have the possibilities to do the training, you have the equipment, and just able to do a race. It's a huge privilege. You know, people don't understand that, like, how small amount of the world population can do an Ironman. So it's a huge privilege. Try to enjoy the day.
My reason is to not be fat anymore. So,
and then what's so special about this Ironman?
It's my first triathlon. I started training about 10 months ago, lost like 90 pounds.
Wow. I want to complete the full Ironman at 114.6 miles. Last year I was in Ironman Louisville. The swimming was shortened, so I didn't feel I completed. This year I want to complete the full Ironman.
To prove that I can do it, stepping out of my comfort zone, left a part-time job at Lululemon and decided to train for my first Ironman, and here I am.
To stay young and keep thriving.
I need to remind myself that I can do hard things. I'm a real estate attorney, I own my own law firm, and I need to have some time to actually focus. So for me, it's the 6 hours on the bike is the time where I can clear my head, no distractions.
Well, I wanted to be an Ironman. I started doing marathons because I didn't want medical school and residency to take everything from me. So my first Ironman was in 2009.
To push myself as hard as possible and just to keep testing the limits to find to find me and to search my soul and to be a better person.
My reason is to basically show myself that I am mentally resilient to do anything. Completing Ironman has given me the strength back, and it's allowed me to know that I'm capable of pretty much anything that I put my mind to. So it's sort of given me something that I lost a long time ago.
So Andy, first Ironman this year, what inspired you?
Well, it goes a long way back to
Maybe we skip that question. Let's do that question at the end.
My name is Andy McKinley. I'm from the Woodlands, Texas.
My name's Gemma Hollis and I'm from the Woodlands, Texas.
I think the biggest challenge for me it was the bike training. The fact that I have a huge fear of dogs and refused to go out on the road, so ended up doing all my training on a trainer. So my whole bike training has been done inside. So for me, mentally, it became a real mental game. And I would hold myself accountable by telling my husband and my daughter exactly how long I had to do before I went in, because I knew I couldn't come out until I'd done it. There was no way I was going to walk out saying I need to do 5 hours and walk out at 4.5. But I feel on race day, mentally, that's going to prepare me for anything.
It's a huge day, and the enormity can be overwhelming. And somebody said to me, stay in the moment. And literally, on the swim, buoy to buoy, stroke by stroke, chant, whatever you need to do to keep your head in the current space. Don't start thinking about the bike when you're on the swim. On the bike, aid station to aid station. Don't start thinking about, oh my God, I've now got to go run a marathon. On the run, aid station to aid station, lap by lap. Just stay in the moment, enjoy, make the most of it, because it is a huge day and can feel overwhelming. You've just got to bite-sized chunks. My favourite race memory is probably last year, 2018. We were due to be volunteering as race callers, so as you come out the swim exit and it's kind of further up the ramp after the wetsuit strippers, and right at the last minute we were asked to go and help down by the stairs because there weren't enough people at swim exit. So as a swim coach, and I've got 5 or 6 volunteers from the squad, suddenly we were right at that point where everybody's coming out to swim, which is just inspiring. The relief and the happiness on everybody's face was amazing. And to see these people that the week before would be talking to you about being nervous about the swim, and that elation when they get out and actually being able to add some value to them by helping them out, unzipping wetsuits, and it was just this huge party at the swim exit. And for me, that's my responsibility to help them get through that. Racing is fantastic, and I had a fabulous day, but watching from that other side and seeing that happiness on people's faces just second to none.
And I think for me, that was what inspired me to actually sign up. Just actually seeing that elation of those people coming out, I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be that person that came out and finished that swim. And for me, that was a turning point last year, actually volunteering. I was in the same place as Jem, pulling people out of the water, and just experiencing people's emotions. Is you want to be part of that, and you want to have those emotions.
A couple years ago, this wasn't possible. Lost almost 100 pounds, and I found a new lifestyle basically, and I just want to have something that my kids can look back on and say that they were proud. Hopefully it pushes them to, be the best that they can be basically. So, trying to keep up with my kids.
He's been my inspiration for Ironman because after he did his first in 2017 and I was here to support, I decided I have to do it too. And we've been at all of each other's races since we were little kids, every single one from the time we were born, basically.
That's amazing. Yeah, hug it out. That's amazing.
We got a little onesie. Yes, we're very excited.
It's reminding my kids and showing my girls that you can do things that you don't always like, and that things are hard, and you get this sense of accomplishment. I always tell them, and what I'm saying now is that, you know, the happiest place on earth isn't Disney. It's the Ironman finish line.
I just kind of get a tune in my head and I just kind of bebop along to that. I don't let things get in my way. I don't let things I can't control bother me. It is what it is on race day. You just got to go with the flow. My name is Andy Hood and I'm from College Station, Texas. I think it really started when I first volunteered at a local triathlon in College Station. I was just sitting on the course and I was watching everybody run through and do this thing, and I said, I bet I can do one of those. So I signed up for Tri-Aggie-Land, and I did pretty well at that one, so I just kept going further and further with my triathlons. And when Ironman Texas came around last year, or actually in 2017, the sign up came up and I went ahead and bit the bullet and signed up for it, and I've been hooked ever since. The difficult for me would be the bike ride. I'm pretty well disciplined in the swim and the run, but on the bike ride, it's such a long journey. 112 miles is a long way to go, and you keep looking at your watch hoping that that time's flying by and that you're flying along with time. I keep going. You know, there's not much you can do except keep pushing yourself for it. And knowing that the run is coming up, that I'm a fairly decent runner, I have that to look forward to get me through the bike ride. First timers, I would just say to enjoy the experience. You've worked hard to get here. You've been through a lot of training. You haven't been able to enjoy life as much as you can. Enjoy the experience of being out here on the course with a lot of other people and a lot of fans cheering for you.
My journey for this Ironman was I work at a pediatric hospital doing anesthesia, and I kind of realized that I need to use this body to its fullest while I can, and so I'm just going to throttle down until I can't anymore, and that's kind of what my passion was for this Ironman.
So I came to spectate Texas in 2016 when the big monsoon came through. And I was an Olympic distance racer, and I was just like, I'm doing this race someday. So here I am.
I met a lady who ran a tri-shot back in 2009, and she encouraged me to do this mini sprint. At the end of it, I couldn't run it. I'd never run in my life till I was 68. I'd never swum, and well, a little bit. So I said to her, okay, well, I can't run and I can't swim much, but I'll give it a go. And at the end of it, I said to myself, Howard, you know, that was pathetic. You can do better than this. So I did another sprint, then I did a half in Miami, and then I went and I did my first full in 2 years from starting. And I've actually done 32 Ironman and 24 half Ironman.
Wow. So 7 months ago, I was involved in a bike accident where I actually severed my Achilles. I fell off the bike and the bike sprocket sliced it. So I tore my Achilles and I was currently 6 weeks away from Ironman Waco. And I knew I couldn't do that race. I ended up having the surgery, and the surgeon told me I wouldn't be able to run again for an entire year. But I just was determined to do it. I was in a cast for 6 weeks, and then a boot for 6 weeks, and then rehab was allowed to start. So when I was in a boot, I did the elliptical and stationary bike every single day, so I wouldn't lose my fitness. And 5 weeks ago, I was cleared to run for the first time, and 3 weeks ago, I did my first marathon in Milwaukee.
And tomorrow you're doing your first Ironman.
I trained for it on an elliptical, yes. Just
walking across the finish line, and I had the coolest shoot experience because I was all by myself for the whole shoot. And so the crowd was literally cheering for me, and so that was probably the most memorable experience, like walking up the chute and knowing that everybody's there celebrating like what you just accomplished. And so that's definitely like #1 moment of the Ironman last year. Yeah. My name is Allie Kastner, and I am from College Station, Texas. Awesome. This year, I'm more excited for the run. I think I'm ready to run, and I think I'm like excited about seeing people on the course. Because the bike, you're by yourself, the swim, you're in your own head and you're by yourself, but like the run is the coolest thing with people just cheering you on. They don't even know you, but they know your name, and it's pretty cool. So that's the most excited part of me. The biggest thing is I have a lot of issues with my feet. So I go to a chiropractor every week for him to work on my feet into my calves. And so with that, I have had like my run training is a little different than what you would see most people. So it's more interval training basis than just like all out, let's go for 11 miles. And that's just to make sure that my feet don't get too injured while I'm training. Enjoy every moment and like have an attitude of gratitude and just appreciate the moment that you're in, because you'll never have a first time again. And I think the biggest advice is like when you're in the chute, take the time to like spend the time in the chute, because that is the greatest feeling of like people cheering you on, to make that moment your own and own it. And so like just really appreciating like every little moment, from the volunteers to like people just cheering you on, like appreciate the small things. I actually have recovery boots with me, so I'll sit in those the night after, or the night of basically, and let my legs recover. And then I'll have a massage and a chiropractic appointment the next couple of days, just to make sure my body is completely healing up. And as far as mentally, I'll just like kind of like relax, maybe read a little bit and listen to some music that will just calm my soul and my spirit, because there's a lot of like built up adrenaline, and something that just can kind of bring me down and relax me again. Yeah.
One of the most important things I do to recover is make sure I get nutrients right after I'm done. That's the very most important thing. Make sure I do some stretching right after, but most importantly, nutrition. Whether it's eating regular foods or eating some kind of supplements, mostly just regular foods. Get a good sandwich in there.
On a really hard day, I literally just will sit and drink beer and eat a cheeseburger.
Yeah. My family is going to play a big part in that. Obviously, seeing them, I know that's going to take my mind off a lot of the pain and suffering that I'll endure. But yeah, just talking with them, sitting down maybe, holding the kids.
For me, it's taking downtime, try not to overanalyze things too much. And also one thing that Jem has taught me is not having regrets. If you make a decision within a race, don't beat yourself up about it, because at the time it was the right decision to make. So own that decision. And then after, feeding your body with good food. I do a lot of compression work with compression pads, foam rolling, but really just getting back at it rather than just sitting on the sofa for a day. It's keep moving. And as a swim coach, Jem will tell you that the best thing to do is get back in the pool.
I'm expecting everybody there Monday morning. No excuse. And that's, I think, really good. You just got to keep moving, but give yourself permission to take some downtime. I think that's really important, mentally and physically, just to kind of, and that's good. That's okay.
What's your plans after the Ironman? How are you going to celebrate?
Drink.
Beer. Yeah. He's celebrating.
We've been dry for almost 2 months now, so.
Yeah. Not just sober, but dry. So.
There's a difference. I heard that there's a 12-pack waiting somewhere at the finish line.
Champagne, all of it. Oh yeah.
You are an Ironman!